What is one radical change the New York Rangers can make right now to get themselves ready for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs? Let's talk about it. Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Y2K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch these videos. So I'm going to talk a little bit of New York Rangers hockey here. Now, the Rangers are coming off a 3-game road trip in Montreal, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh, where they collected 5 out of a possible 6 points. Nothing to be ashamed of there. But pretty much every Ranger fan who's been watching these games, it's pretty apparent to see that this team is just not clicking the way that Rangers fans would like it to be. You know, they have been looking hesitant on the ice. The power play is not working the way it has been. And here's the thing. It always feels like the Rangers are playing from behind. It feels like the Rangers are just spotting the opponent the first goal of the game, before it even gets started. So there are a few things that I'm noticing. And as far as my radical change, I'm going to get to that in a moment. But I just want to make a couple of observations about what I've seen up to this point. So getting the 5 points out of 6 I thought was important. The fact that the Rangers are winning games while they've been getting their lineup back in order the way that it was meant to be. They're finally playing with a full 18 skaters again, which was not the case for a while. That's definitely helpful. Ryan Lindgren, though, is still the big missing part to this defense. We talked about that on the last Rangers video, and all you need to know are the numbers for Adam Fox. Adam Fox, the Norris Trophy winner as the best defenseman in hockey, his play has not been where it needs to be the last couple of weeks. So he's been playing with Niko Mikkola. And I will say this, Mikkola I thought looked pretty good against Pittsburgh. He played pretty solid, dependable defense. But Fox, over his last 11 games, which have been played, many of which have been played with Mikkola, but some with Lindgren as well, he's been on the ice for 7 goals for and 13 against. The last 5 games, he's been on the ice for just 1 goal for and 7 goals against. No matter who's playing defense, I don't care if it's Ryan Lindgren, Niko Mikkola, Ben Harper, if they want to bring up Matthew Robertson or Zach Jones for all I care. The Rangers need a little bit better from Adam Fox. He's been turning the puck over a little bit more recently. We're just not seeing the best hockey from Adam Fox, and I believe he has to step his game up a little bit further. Now, I do have to give a lot of credit to Vincent Trochek. Now, I was pretty excited when the Rangers signed him. I was a fan of his, even going back to his days with the Florida Panthers, and even last year as well with the Carolina Hurricanes. He was a very tough player for the Rangers to play against, and now we're starting to see why. It seems with Vinny Trochek, as the year goes on, his game picks up. You see a little more snarl. You see a little bit more nasty. You already know he can play. He can play in a whole lot of situations on the power play, killing penalties, winning faceoffs, has a good shot, very good distributor of the puck. But we're seeing an aggressive side, and we saw it with the open ice hit to Evgeny Malkin, a legal hit, by the way. Never left his feet, never made contact with the head. It wasn't from behind, it wasn't from the side. It was just straight up, man on man. And yeah, it was a beautiful hit. And you know what? That's something that we need to see a whole lot more out of a whole lot of players. But if Trochek is one of those players who's going to do that and, emphasize the physical part of his game as we're coming down the home stretch, the rest of the Rangers really have to follow. Now, as far as Patrick goes, obviously I was very happy when the Rangers got Kane, but I was a little bit concerned about the lack of grit in the overall team. By the way, Sammy Blais has been amazing since he's left the Rangers. He's playing with Braden Shen. He scored 5 goals since he's left the Rangers, and to be honest, I don't have any bitterness towards him. Honestly, I'm glad for him. But Kane, if anything, looks a little bit hesitant. He has scored a couple of goals. I think he's just trying to find his way and not take over immediately. Some of the comments that I see from Rangers, I saw one guy say, man, Kane must wear number 88 because he skates like he's 88 years old. It doesn't take a whole lot to figure out that when you played in one city for 15 years and now you go to a new place, the adjustment is not always going to be seamless. Look at Martin St. Louis back in 2014 when the Rangers made their run to the finals. How many people remember that St. Louis did not score a goal in his first 13 regular season games as a Ranger? How many remember he only scored one goal in the last 19 regular season games that the Rangers played before the playoffs began? But most of us don't remember that for one simple reason. The playoffs came, he changed the narrative, highlighted by the game-winning overtime goal against Montreal to give the Rangers a 3-1 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. But there is a change that I would make, and this is what this video is really all about. I know Gerard Gallant loves to change the lines up, but a little bit of stability is needed. I would make some changes here. Now, one thing I would not change is that fourth line. Barclay Goodrow in the middle, tylermotte on the left side, Jimmy Vesey on the right side. This is maybe the best fourth line I've seen the Rangers have in maybe a decade. Goodrow brings the playoff experience, can win a faceoff. Vesey is an excellent defensive right wing. And then you have tylermotte, who plays with just amazing energy, amazing tenacity. I'm so glad the Rangers have him back on the team. I wish he could have never left, but I'm very, very happy that he is back on the team. And, I just love tenacity from your bottom line players. And I've seen too many Rangers teams over the year where you have fourth liners skating like they're in quicksand. I'm not going to name names out of respect, but I love having Mott on this team. But as far as the top lines go, here's what I would do. Something a little bit different. I would keep Mika Zibanejad, of course, as your first line center. Nothing to change there. But I would put Alexei Lafreniere on the left side and patrickkane on the right side. You've got a premier playmaker in the middle. Okay, and then you've got kind of a sniper on the right side, a very capable player on the right side. But I like putting Lafreniere with them because he has shown a willingness to forecheck, to go into the corners, retrieve the puck, is still more than a capable shooter and passer himself, but he's not being relied on to lead the scoring on that line. I would like to see Lafreniere get a little bit more ice time in the situation. I think pairing him up with Zibanejad and Kane could really work. I know that Panarin and Kane, the idea was to put them together, have them play well together like they did in Chicago for 2 years. But I think with this lineup, it's something I want to balance out a little bit because I think Panarin and Kane are maybe a little bit too similar a style of forward, so I would actually break them up. Now, what would I do with Panarin? Well, I put him on the left side with Filip Chytil in the middle and Vladimir Tarasenko on the right. So one thing about Chytil and Panarin, they've only played 6 games together, about 96 minutes of ice time total, but in that time, they scored 7 goals and allowed just 3. Okay, so I like the idea of Chytil, whose game has been elevating over the season, but hasn't been scoring as much lately. Okay, he's been on a dry spell for about a dozen games or so. Put him next to Tarasenko, who's scoring at a very high clip right now, one of the best on the team, really. And put him with Panarin. We know how Panarin likes to pass more than shoot sometimes. Well, Tarasenko won't hesitate to shoot. So I like the idea of those 3 together. And now you have a third line that can play more physically, that can control the pace of play with Vincenttrochek, Kaapo Kakko, Chris Kreider. You have 3 forwards who can be very aggressive, but all capable of scoring. And that's something that excites me because you have 4 lines here that can put the puck in the net. And even if the Rangers don't have a lot of grit in their lineup, you have 2 lines here now that can hold their own when it comes to physical play. So those are the changes I would make to this lineup. It's a little bit different, but I think this is something that could work come playoff time. So those are my thoughts. I want to hear what you think. Put in the comments, what do you think of the line changes? Or would you keep things as they are? Would you like to keep Zibanejad with, Kreider and keep the kid line together too with Lafreniere, Kakko, and Chytil? I'll be interested in what you have to say. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.